guys. Welcome back to Undisputed Interviews. Today's guest is, uh, oh man, I forgot what the promotion is, but he's challenging for the featherweight title, I believe January 25th. Nick Argetti, how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I just got back from school.
Nice.
Yeah, so my first question for you today is, how did you discover MMA and the UFC, and what made you want to do it as a profession?
Just my dad's a big fan of fighting. So my dad's been a fan from the first UFC. So just growing up, I was always watching fights with my dad. So around like 8 years old, I kind of would always say that I was gonna be a UFC champ one day. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I turned 11, I started training MMA for the first time. My mom worked at a hospital, and there was a guy who came in, and he had just fought. So he had a gym and we went over there. And then after that, I was on a wrestling club, and it just so happened to be that the wrestling club also had an MMA team. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
started training pretty young.
So, did the guy that came in, he fought in the UFC that night? Or
No,
he
he
just,
just was like a fight. He was just like a local fighter, and
oh, okay.
my mom worked like the front desk at a hospital, and he just came in, and my mom told him like that her boys were big fans of fighting, and
Yeah.
he invited us to the gym, and my dad took us and started off with that and just kept growing.
It was like, so when you first started, it was kind of like, oh, you already knew this is what you wanted to do, or it took a little time and you're like, okay, I think I
I
can
like
get good at this.
I kind of knew I wanted to do it, but I mean I was a kid. I had no
Yeah.
clue. I knew no clue what that really meant.
Do you do you realize now, like, dang, I realized this at a young age, and that you think that it's probably why you still are so into it today?
I think it's like kind of cool looking back and just know
Yeah.
that I've always had this one goal and I've kind of stayed on the same path for basically my entire life. It's always given me purpose and focus. So I think that's good. I mean, the negative of that would be, you've done it for so long, it does get old sometimes.
Yeah.
So you always have to try to stay excited with it and keep it fun just because I have been doing it for so long.
How do the parents feel about it? Like when you first started competing, were they a little nervous?
My older brother fought too. So by then, not really. My dad had always expected me to fight. My
Hmm.
mom was obviously a bit more nervous than my dad, but
Yeah.
my parents are used to it.
Yeah, like I'm about to compete. My mom, like, on the daily is like, oh, make sure you keep your hands up and funny stuff like that. So I'm like, I got you. Like, so I get what you mean. Like, my uncle and stuff, they're not really nervous about it. They think it's cool, but like my mom, my aunt and stuff are always like a little nervous about it. They're always like a little too concerned, I think, but I get what
Yeah.
you mean.
No, it's normal. I mean, when my brother fought, I was a nervous wreck. And
Yeah.
then my dad fought twice, and that was terrible for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm the only one in the family that does any fighting. My brother did like karate, but he never like really competed. We kind of just did it for
Nice.
to stay in shape. Well, I mean, obviously you fought in the UFC. You fought Peyton Talbot, who fights this weekend. How did you feel that fight went? Did you feel you were up, or do you feel it's 1-1, like going to the third?
I mean, I felt like he was definitely 1-1 going into the third. Felt like
Mm-hmm.
I dominated the first round. And then the second round, I felt like it was close until around the end of the second. I kind of took his back and I fell over the top. And he, landed some good shots after that. So that he definitely won that round. And yeah, it was a good competitive fight. Just needed to stay calm when you have to ride. The big thing with fighting is you have to ride those waves. When
Mm-hmm.
you fight people who are also really good, high level guys, you're usually not going to just like dominate them. You're gonna have your moments, but they're gonna have their moments too. And that was just one thing I really learned was I have to stay calm in those situations when it's their moments. Just have to stay calm and know that I am good enough where I could come back from that.
Yeah.
So that was a big learning experience. And Peyton's really good, and got nothing bad to say about the guy. I root for him. It's good for me when his success is good for me. Honestly,
Yeah.
just you don't want to be you don't want to lose to a guy who's losing all of his UFC fights, because what does that say about you? So I root for him, and I think he'll win this weekend. He's a tough guy. So
Do you feel you gave him the hardest fight? Like me personally, when I watched that fight back, I go, okay, his debut was his most difficult fight.
yeah, I mean the other one, he beat the guy in like 13
13.
seconds or something. And then
And then,
Cameron Sammy, I think a lot of people thought that was gonna be a good fight, and he killed him. So, honestly, he dominated that fight.
yeah, I was expecting that to be a lot closer, and then it happened. I was like, geez, Talbot's way better than I thought he was.
I mean, my honest opinion on that was, I feel like he had a lot of hype when he came in and fought me, and then they kind of cooled down on him a little bit after that fight, and
Mm-hmm.
they gave him Samian, who I don't think most people would expect a big prospect to get. And then after he looked as good as he did again, they're like, okay, we were right about him. And then they gave him that last kid who,
Gamoria.
yeah, he did what he did. And then I
Do,
think Barcelos is tough, so it should be a good fight. But I think
yeah.
I think Peyton will win.
Do you find it weird that, for example, you had two fights in the UFC, both didn't go your way, and then you get cut, but then there's people that are at flyweight or at whatever weight, and they're on like 4 fight losing streaks, and the still UFC has no problem keeping them. Is it just like,
I mean, it's frustrating. I was surprised that I got cut. I
yeah,
mean, I think there's some guys who have gone like 0 and 4, and like, why did they get that fourth fight? I feel like I really only got one real opportunity in the UFC. I mean, the first one was on 6 days' notice. So I felt like I only got one real camp, one real fight. And my fight was against a guy who I think is going to be in the top 15 by the end of the year, if we're realistic about it. So,
yeah,
I mean, didn't get a great draw, but it is what it is. You got to learn from it. I could complain about it. I could be down about it all I want, but that's not going to change, my reality at all.
yeah. Okay, I have the promotion right here. Never mind. On January 25th, you're fighting for the Throne MMA featherweight title
Yeah.
against Timothy Bender. How do you see that fight playing out? I mean, when I was looking at Topology about it, you were a big favorite. I think like 75% of people were picking you.
Yeah. I mean, I expect to be the favorite, especially locally. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything. That's not going to help me win at all.
Mm-hmm.
With him, he's very aggressive boxer mainly, and I feel like he's a bit overconfident, thinking that there is a huge difference in our abilities striking. He seems to think that I need to take him down, and if I don't take him down, I'm screwed. Which I think he's going to realize quickly when we're in there that that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just big thing is I know exactly what he's going to do, and he thinks he knows what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to keep him off balance, not let him know what's coming, and I'm going to wear on him because he is very aggressive. He's super aggressive, and that's
Mm-hmm.
great and all. But when you fight somebody at my level, the odds of you landing something that fast and just getting me out of there is unlikely. And I'm gonna drag him to deep waters.
Do you have official prediction? Like, do you have a round or away submission that you want
No,
to be?
I don't really like to do that. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
to feel like it's bad because if it doesn't go how you think, like if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna submit him in the first round, now the second round's coming. Now it's getting in my head that I didn't do what I thought I was gonna do. So I
Yeah.
just I just stay focused on. I'm just gonna compete as hard as I can. I'm gonna stick to my game plan, and you know the result's gonna be what it is.
So where can people watch this fight? So how the UFC is on ESPN and people go to ESPN to watch it. Where can people watch your fight on January 25th?
So I think will have a stream. I don't know what their streaming service is, but most of these shows, when it comes to like local stuff, usually just have streams, and usually you'll put a link out, and your family and friends will watch it. But it's nothing like on TV.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna tune in. I want, because
appreciate it.
I'm primarily just watching the UFC
Yeah,
and one of my friends was like, you need to watch like PFL and Bellator. Obviously, Bellator just died, but
Yeah.
Bellator and one and whatever. So I was like, all right, I'll try it out. So I
Yeah.
think I'm trying to expand.
Yeah, PFL's cool. I like watching PFL. I like to watch Ryzen a lot. Ryzen's pretty.
hmm
Have you ever watched that?
I've seen like clips. I haven't watched like a full card or anything.
Yeah, watch some of those fights. Those fights are real cool. Japan, they like really they like make a big show out of it. It's cool how they do it.
Did it Ryzen with the Kai Asakura kid, right?
Yeah, Kaya Sakura came from
Yeah,
Ryzen.
that kid. I feel like he. Do you feel he underperformed against Pantoja?
I feel like he was just too aggressive. He got way too aggressive, I feel.
Yeah, I because people were like, oh, he's actually like really really good. So I was like, oh, this is just gonna go 5 rounds and it's gonna be a war. And then Pantoja got like an early submission. I was like, oh, he's
Yeah,
not that good.
I just felt like he was over aggressive, and you can't do that at that level with guys
hmm
like that, especially Pantoja, who's really good on the ground, especially with back takes.
Yeah. So you train at I forget what it's called. I forgot the rights on the gym, but you train with
Valley
the lights.
Flush.
Yeah, Valley Plus Street. But you train with the lights of Yair Rodriguez and Ignacio Mendez and Carlos Hernandez and those type of fighters. How do they help elevate your game? Obviously, Yair is about to fight Diego Lopez. Ignacio Mendez has some fight news coming out soon. I heard.
It's good. I have a lot of good people around me. It's good to be around successful people. I mean, you are who you surround yourself with.
hmm
So if you really want to like make it high in this type of career, and there's nobody in the UFC at your gym and things like that, yeah, it's possible, but it's a lot less likely. And I'm around like champs. I'm around Bilal Muhammad's there all the time. He
Yeah,
runs a lot of our practices. Juliana Pena's there all the time. And then obviously Ignacio, Yair, Carlos, Charlie Ratke, Austin Hubbard. We have a lot of UFC guys, so it's good to surround yourself with talented people, and you see their habits, and you see the things that work, the things that translate to the real like the real fight, because people will show you a lot of stuff, but it doesn't always translate. So
yeah.
we have good people around, and yeah, it's but super beneficial for me.
So like I said, Yair's fighting Diego Lopez. I'm assuming you think Yair's gonna win.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm assuming. Do you see Yair getting a finish?
Um, Diego Lopez is really tough, so
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll finish him. It's possible. Yair striking so nasty. I could see him finishing him because I could picture Yair finishing anybody on the feet, but I
hmm
could see him picking him apart the whole time. I don't know
Yeah.
yet is if that's a 3 round or 5 round fight,
I think it's
but
5.
five.
I
Uh,
heard it's the main event of the Mexico City card.
okay, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, I could see him picking him apart the whole time. Yair's nasty. He's one of the most athletic people I've ever seen in my life. So I don't. Yeah, he'll take care of business. So it'll be a good
I
fight. Diego Lopez is very good.
Yeah, he's really good. I mean, what he did to Ortega. Have you seen the memes?
No, no.
I think it was like an overhand right. Lopez hit him with it. It looked like he knocked Ortega out with the shot, and then woke him back up with a lead hook.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, a lot of people were making fun of Ortega about it.
Oh,
So I
no,
was
I
like, oh,
that.
I personally don't see that fight going to round 3. I think somebody's gonna get finished.
Yeah, I mean, they're both finishers, so it's definitely possible.
Yeah. So, have you heard anything about the Ignacio Bahamondes fight news? Bilal was like, oh, he heard something. I was wondering, anybody say anything to you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know about it, but I don't
You
know.
do?
I can't be the one who says it,
No,
but
don't leak it. Don't leak it. Don't leak it.
yeah, but no, I know who it is. It's a big fight. It's a
I
huge
I think I
opportunity.
know who. I think I know who too. I think it's Bobby Green.
Yeah, I can't say nothing about that, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
Cause
a it's a big
yeah,
opportunity, and it'll be a big one for him. And I just say it's a good matchup. It's like it's gonna be a crazy fight for sure.
yeah. The only reason I say Bobby Green though is because he's like something the same day as Ignacio.
Uh huh.
So I was like, oh, maybe I'm wrong, and there's Bobby's fighting someone ranked, and he just didn't
Yeah,
want to say anything. But I was like, I think it makes sense. I was like, Ignacio deserves a big fight. Bobby just lost. He needs to fight down.
yeah, no, it's gonna be a big fight. Who it is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm excited, man. So how has moving up to 145 helped you in your game? Because obviously you fought Payne Talbot and then Argetta at 135. Since moving up to 45, have you felt an increase in your game?
No, I mean, I'm gonna be a 35er. Like when I get back to the UFC, like as I expect to get back there, and when that happens, I'm gonna be a bantamweight. It's just
Yeah.
easier for me to get fights more often at 45 because the thing is, I need to rack up wins to get back to the UFC. You need to rack up wins.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a toll on my body to make 35. I mean, I walk around anywhere between 162 to like 168. So
Okay.
35 is a process, and after it, I need to take a few months,
Mm-hmm.
let my body recover. But at 45, I can fight pretty often. So I'm just kind of taking what's offered to me too. It's kind of hard to get fights locally.
Mm-hmm.
I got offered this fight at 45, so I was like, screw it. I'm not small for the weight, so can definitely do it.
Yeah, I mean, you fought one other time, or you had one fight before this in where was it at? In I keep forgetting the camp. Or in Throne MMA. Were you expecting a title fight next when you got the win, the submission? Were you like, okay, I'm probably fighting for the title next, or you just like, whatever they offer me, I'll take?
No, I mean like locally, it's kind of like just random, like what you
Oh,
offered. I mean, who knows what it's like? I have no clue what will be offered to me after this fight.
mm-hmm.
I mean, it just kind of whatever happens, happens. I have a new management, so I kind of expect they're kind of running a show in March, so I kind of would expect to do that after this. But we have to get through this one first. But no,
Is
you
that a,
have like any clue like if you're gonna get a title shot or not. I mean, you could never fight for a show locally, and your first fight is a title fight.
is that a good turnaround for you, March, or is that you think that's too soon?
That's good for me because this is at 45. If I was making 35, I wouldn't be able to cut right away again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
How often were you taking off after the fights at 35? How were you like?
I
Were
mean,
you out?
I get right back in the gym. I get right back in the gym, but
Okay.
my body is not prepared to like go through another weight cut that fast. Like
Yeah.
I need to kind of like heal up a bit. Where at 45, I mean, I'll probably have a fun like week where I eat pretty normal and then back to getting my weight down.
Yeah. So how do you feel about people like how you say you walk around at like 162, 168? And then people like Islam who fight at 155 and I don't know what he walks around, I think like 180 or something, and people call him a weight bully. How do you feel about that term?
I feel like if you can make the weight, you can make the weight. Um, I mean, it's a sacrifice. It's a huge sacrifice, and some people are willing to do it, and some people aren't. And if you aren't willing to
Yeah.
do it, you can't really complain about it when people do it. And it's not even beneficial always. Like some people do it the wrong way, and you've seen so many people who do try to do these huge weight cuts, and they do it completely wrong. They're not disciplined, and they suffer in the fight because you do get it does gas you out. It does like there's negative effects if you don't do it right. So,
Hmm.
I don't really believe the whole weight bully thing. I think if you can make the weight, then you can make the weight. Obviously, if you're missing often, that's a whole nother thing though.
Then you got to move up.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like if you miss weight like twice, you should move up.
Yeah. Because I know that's like what happened with Paulo Costa or something back in, I think, like 2021. He missed weight with Vittori by like 20 pounds, and people
Oh
told him
yeah.
but then it didn't happen again. Like he just made it 85 ever since. I was like,
Yeah, I mean he seems like an interesting guy. I don't think he tried to make 185 that time. I think he was just straight up was like we're going to fight at 205.
I think you're right. I think he was like, I know Vittori will accept the fight if I miss weight, so I just won't cut weight.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about it too. You don't fight, you don't get paid, and that's the thing with fighting. You only get paid. You're only getting paid when you're fighting, so
Hmm.
it's really hard not to. It puts you in a bad situation. Like you did the whole camp, you spent the money because you spend money when you do high level camps usually, and then to not get paid, yeah, that's not
You're
good.
just
So
losing all your money.
most guys are willing.
I
What's
said
up?
you. Sorry, you cut out there for a second.
Oh, most guys are willing to do stuff like that. Like they went through a whole camp,
Yeah,
so it's hard not to get paid and hard not to make all that effort for something.
yeah. It's just like you're just losing your own money. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
So, what are your predictions for the Marab and Umar fight this weekend?
I'm excited. I'm excited about that one. I think Umar will win. I think Umar and Islam will both win, but they're gonna be competitive fights, both of them. A lot of grappling. If I think it'll be grappling heavy, both. But that's the thing too. I mean, you never know. Just because they're both such high level grapplers, maybe they'll strike. Maybe they'll
Yeah,
play each other out. But I just kind of feel like Umar and Islam are slightly better grapplers than Marab and Armin. So,
I got Marab
but
and Islam.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I think they're both gonna be good fights.
do you find it weird that Marab is like a 3-1 underdog, considering he's on an 11 fight win streak? He's beaten the the people he has beaten is crazy.
Uh, Not really. Just because I mean it's a
That's true.
Nurmagomedov. I mean that name holds such weight in this sport. So I mean he's never lost. I mean, and I think another thing with him is nobody really wanted to fight him. Like people complain a lot about, oh, he shouldn't have got a title fight. He only fought Corey Sandhagen. But like who really wanted to fight that guy? Like nobody was jumping, raising their hand, being like, hey, I want to fight Umar.
I
And the
think
only
Song Yadong did.
Song Yunong didn't take it.
Oh, he didn't. I thought he didn't take because he
Oh,
was injured. I thought he was like, "Oh, I'll fight," and then he was like, "Oh, I'm injured."
yeah, I think they said he was hurt or something.
Oh,
But I just think Corey Sandhagen was the only one who was willing to take that fight. And it was a good fight, but Umar won 50-45. Like, how could he not get a title fight?
that's true. That's true. You think the winner fights O'Malley?
Probably. Probably. I mean, O'Malley's going to get whatever he wants. He's the money.
Mm.
So,
I'm riding with Sugar Sean, man. Right
yeah.
there. Sugar Sean gonna win.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he'll beat either of them, honestly, but I I get why he would get a title fight. I mean, he's all the money. Like they're gonna make a shit ton of money off any pay-per-view with him.
Yeah, I think on Sean's best day, like I don't want to say the Sean that fought Marab didn't show up, but I think the Sean that fought Marlon Vera, I think he would have beat Marab. I don't think he beats Umar. I don't think anybody really beats Umar.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't Not right now, at least. I feel like Umar
Yeah.
wrestling is too good for him. And I think Umar is gonna beat Marab. So yeah, I think if that's the next fight, I think it's gonna be similar to what we saw with Marab and O'Malley, but probably worse.
I think O'Malley would probably get submitted.
Yeah, that's yeah, I think he'd get finished. But you never know with guys like him. He has such range, and it's weird that he has as much power as he does with his
Hmm.
body type.
That's
He's
true.
really long and skinny. He doesn't look like somebody who hit hard, but he obviously does. So with guys like that, it just takes one shot. So you can never count him out, but
Yeah,
surprised if you beat Umar.
dude, that would a lot of people would be upset if you were to sleep if you were to knock out Umar. A lot of people would be upset about it.
Yeah, but probably more people be pumped because he has so many fans.
Well, yeah, that's true. I think a lot of people would be excited because they have an exciting champion where Umar would just probably wrestle everybody.
Yeah.
But like
And
the Khabib guys,
yeah, a lot of American fans too are like could be haters and
Yeah, that's true. I don't dislike him. I like Islam. I don't like I like Islam. I like Umar.
Yeah, I mean, I like all of them, and and Bilal's like pretty tight with them, and so I think we
Yeah,
all like root for him for the most part.
yeah. I think the dope like even with Bilal, a lot of people hate him. I don't get why. I mean, he
Yeah,
beat everybody he was supposed to beat.
yeah, I don't get that one, but yeah, it's something that is I think is like a popular thing just to be a hater,
Yeah,
like on certain guys.
I'm taking Bilal to beat Shafkat.
I think so.
I think
Obviously,
so.
trained with him, so obviously I'm biased, but I feel like after watching that fight, you feel so much even more comfortable about it.
Hmm.
Bilal is a animal, dude. I've never seen anybody train the way Bilal does. That dude works nonstop. So I'm taking him over anybody.
Yeah, I mean, like me personally, I think the only person that I would be 50-50 with Bilal is Buckley.
Buckley. I mean, Buckley's good, but yeah, I mean, I think Bilal is just so well rounded, and he's so smart in there. Like if you watch his fights, they look like different people. Like you watch his fight with Vicente Luque, he was circling, he was backing up, but he was circling a lot,
Hmm.
kicks, and then like getting those takedowns. And then compare that to like when he fought Leon. Leon, he came forward the whole time, wrestled heavy, and then when you watch him fight Sean Brady, he literally stayed in the pocket and boxed with him the whole time. Like those are like three high level fights that looked all completely different.
Plus Burns
Yeah, and then Burns too.
dominated Burns on short notice.
But like when you watch these guys, like these high level dudes, a lot of their fights look the same. Like their game
Hmm.
very similar no matter what. They're good at what they're good at, and like O'Malley's gonna move a lot. He's gonna stay long. He's gonna throw kicks. He's gonna throw like long 1-2s. Like everything's gonna be long. He's gonna keep you in range. But like with Bilal, you could watch his fights, and they all just like they look like different fights because he can do so many different things.
That's true.
And
Like with the Burns thing, he just straight up kickboxed.
yeah, and that's a hard thing to deal with. Like when you don't know what's coming at you.
Yeah, I mean, one Buckley follows me on Instagram, so I'm like, obviously, you know, he was my
Yeah,
first UFC fighter that ever followed me, and he's also been on the channel. He's a super
yeah.
nice dude.
Yeah, he came to our gym actually for which is interesting now because now it is realistic that him and Bilal could fight. But yeah, he came to our gym for like a week or so.
Recently,
Uh,
or no?
less than a year ago.
Oh wow,
But I mean, probably like maybe like 8 months ago, something like that. But yeah, he's there for like a week or so.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was like low key like watching Bilal and being like, oh okay,
I
okay,
mean,
I see what you do there.
he seemed cool. I mean, everybody seemed cool, but yeah, it's weird now because I back when he came, the situation was definitely different. It wasn't realistic that they would fight soon, but now it's definitely a possibility.
I mean, yeah, if he beats Usman, he's next.
Yeah, and I think he probably will beat Usman, in my opinion.
But he also has JDM because if JDM beats Leon, then who gets the shot? Whoever gets the first big win.
Yeah, I feel like whoever looks better, probably.
Yeah, I think well Usman teased fight news, but I also think JDM Leon is also official. Like it's
Yeah,
already gonna happen. So
yeah,
it probably would have already happened by the time like Leon or by the time Usman and Buckley fight. So it would just
yeah.
make sense for Jack to get the shot and then Buckley after against whoever wins.
A lot of it will be timing. It'll just be timing
Yeah,
everything.
that's a big thing in MMA timing.
Yeah, yeah. Like who gets these opportunities? A lot of it is like you could just time it right and
Hmm.
works out for you.
I think Poirier showed that he beat BSD. I don't know what I think Oliveira got scheduled to fight Armin.
Yeah,
So Poirier was like, "Oh, I'm just next up."
yeah. It just worked out. Yeah, that's a big thing. So just depends timing and if somebody obviously looks amazing, they're gonna get it. Like if somebody gets a 50K knockout, they're gonna get the shot.
Yeah. So when do you have a time that you feel like within a year? You want to be back in the UFC within 2 years? What are you, or just whenever?
The hope would be within a year. I'm gonna try to fight as much as possible. Obviously, can't look too far ahead
Yeah,
because I'm getting fights with these guys. I got to take them serious and got to train just as hard. Can't like can't put the foot off the gas pedal just because I'm not in the UFC anymore. So, I mean, hopefully within a year, I'm gonna prepare. Hopefully, I'll got to stay prepared for short notice because that's the biggest way to get in now.
that's
And
true.
I already was in, so like I'm not gonna be in the Contender series. So the most likely thing is to get a short notice. So for me, the idea would be to take as many fights as possible, try to stay super active. So if they do call me, hopefully I'll be in camp already and close to weight.
Yeah. Well, my final question for you tonight is, do you have a message for your fans and your supporters that have followed you throughout your career, and what can they expect from you in 2025?
Just thank you to everybody who supports me. Thanks to my family, my teammates and coaches at VFS Academy. Can do it without any of them. So yeah, just appreciate them, and I expect big things out of myself this year. I expect to fight often, so just a busy year, and hopefully all wins. And I'm gonna just keep improving, and you know, I think I belong with the highest level guys, so I'm gonna go prove that this year.
All right, well, guys, you guys can catch him on Throne MMA on January 25th, fighting for the featherweight title against Timothy Bender. Appreciate you, sir.
Appreciate it, man.